You know, it feels good to have a video idea that you're really passionate about. And this one, audio, this is one that I'm actually really passionate about. Like, echo, not good. And for those of you who didn't know before, all of the video stuff that I do is on YouTube, and I learned it from YouTube. And this is what I actually do for a living. It doesn't have anything to do with video. Now, there are three things that you have to think about when you're trying to get crisp, clear audio on the M50 or really on any camera. Number one is your mic placement, number two is your audio levels, and number three is your post-production. And really, the better you do on number one, the easier number two is gonna be. And the better you do number one and number two, the easier number three is gonna be. Now with mic placement, it's important to know what type of video, what scenario you're gonna be in. Because your mic placement is gonna be different, like at the beginning of this video, than it is right now. At the beginning of this video, I had it on top of the camera. And this is one reason why wider angle lenses is really beneficial, because one thing you have to think about with your audio is the closer you get the microphone, the better your audio quality is going to be, at least to a certain degree. That's why when you see people doing podcasts, they always have the microphone really close to their mouth. Now, of course, the microphones that we're using for vlogging are a little bit different than those microphones, and so we don't actually want to do that. But also, if you ever seen someone performing live, the microphone they're holding right up close to their mouth. Now again, those are specific microphones designed to have it right up to your mouth, and we don't want to have the microphone that close. But like in this shot, if I would have the microphone on top of my camera as opposed to on this boom pole, then my audio would sound more echoey, kind of like how it did back at that job site. So really, when you're trying to do vlogging shots, you want to have a wider angle lens. That way you can get your camera closer to you. And the next thing I want to talk about is the mic placement for like a studio shot. And as you see right here, I have it on a boom pole. And this is bringing it up, making it about 8 to 12 inches away from my mouth. And one advantage of this is that even though there are kids in the other room, you're not actually able to hear them because I'm able to get my audio levels down lower. Because the lower that you get your audio levels, the less background noise and background hiss that you're going to get in your audio. And so having something like this VXR10 boomed above me actually really helps me in order to be able to get crisper audio in a studio environment. That's something that you have to think about, is that your audio is going to get better up to a point the closer you get your microphone to your mouth. But then going into audio levels, it's important to not get, at least with a boom mic, you don't want to get it too close to your mouth, because then if you had it, say, right up against my mouth, then me backing up would totally destroy the audio. That's why having a little bit of distance is actually very good with the boom microphone, because then you sort of have this range of where you're going to be moving, and the bigger the range of movement you're going to have, the farther you want to get your microphone away. If you're someone who's like talking and moving around a lot, then you don't want to have your microphone very close to you, because then your audio is not going to be as good, because you're going to be going out of that perfect zone way more. Because even though these microphones are directional, it's not like a beam that just gets it in front, it's a cone. And so the farther you get the microphone away, the wider the cone is, the more the microphone's gonna pick up. Which, if you're someone who moves around a lot, then that's something that's very important. After you determine your placement, that's when your audio level is important, because the closer you get your microphone to you, the lower your audio levels need to be. Basically, what you want to do is to get your microphone to peak between -12 and -6 decibels. At least that's what I try to do. Now, if you want to know how to set your audio levels on the M50, check out the video above. I go through and show exactly how to, 2 different ways of adjusting your audio levels. I don't suggest that you have it on automatic mode, because when you stop talking, your audio levels will raise up. Whereas when I stop talking like right here, my audio level stays consistent. If you're in a studio setting especially, I would say definitely set your audio levels manually. Now if you're out vlogging, not as big of a deal. I do, but it's not a big deal. Usually what I do when I'm vlogging, setting my audio levels, and I talk about it in that video, is I just hold my camera out at the distance that I'm normally doing it and have it peg out between about -18 decibels and -12 decibels. I go a little bit lower than I do in a studio because I never know what's going to happen. I can't regulate my voice as well as I can when I'm sitting here. And the last is post-production. Now, quick disclaimer here, I don't know a whole lot about post-production. I've watched several videos on YouTube about how to set up your audio, and I've sort of gotten an equalizer that I sort of just slap onto all of my footage, and then I use one of the compressors. But another thing that I do, and this is something that I don't see a lot, and I've seen a lot of people have problems with, is that when they have inconsistent audio levels, people don't, well, pun intended, don't normally normalize their audio. And that's something that's very important. Now, I am using Sony Movie Studio Platinum 12, which is like an ancient program by these days standards. But in my program, what I do is I right-click on each of my audio files and I normalize to -0 decibels, which means it brings the highest peak of my audio to -0 decibels. Now, sometimes if I have higher peaks in those audio files, I will cut out those little peaks and then recalculate the normalization in order to get my audio levels up. And then the next thing that I do, once all of my audio is normalized, I actually put on a compressor. Now, I don't know a lot about compressors. All I know is that it makes my audio sound better. Now, if you guys know about audio and about compressors and all that, please leave a detailed comment down below. I love it when I have people who leave really detailed comments explaining a lot of things. Like someone left one on my hyperlapse video, which explained what I was doing was not technically a hyperlapse, and I just love learning that stuff. So if you know about compressors or about equalizers, please let me know. But what I do is I put on my compressor, and one of the presets in there is a 1.5 by 1 compressor starting at -24 decibels. I'm not an audio expert. I'm just telling you how I get the audio, how I get it on my videos. So take everything I say with a grain of salt. And the last thing I do is an equalizer. Now, this equalizer is not my own concoction. I actually watched a Chris Howe video, and he was talking with a professional audio engineer, someone who does this stuff for a living. And he basically gave settings that he would do in order to get crisper audio. And basically I copied those. What I do is everything 175 hertz and below, I drop off to infinity at a 12 decibel roll-off. And then in the 3000 hertz frequency, I minus that 3 decibels with a 1 octave bandwidth. In the 7000 hertz frequency range, I raise that by 3.7 decibels with a 1 octave bandwidth. And then finally, everything past the 12,000 hertz frequency, I lower to infinity with a 24 decibel roll-off. If you found this video helpful, please give me a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and I'll see you all in the next video.